Hello to you. Hundreds of veterans who took part in the D-Day landing 75 years ago have returned to the French beaches where they landed to commemorate one of the turning points in the Second World War. They joined world leaders, including the presidents of France and the United States and the British Prime Minister, to remember the thousands who died in Normandy. Lucy Williamson reports.
The sounds that made Europe's history are buried on these beaches. Above Gold Beach, where gunfire rang out 75 years ago, a lone piper marked the moment British soldiers set foot in occupied France. The din of battle echoing for some beneath the silence of the crowd.
I survived, but they blew the face off my mate. They lay behind just by the side of me. 3 guys, 1 grenade, they died.
You can't describe it. Lowering the ramp onto bodies of GIs, you didn't know whether they were alive or dead. Used to give me nightmares.
Along the coast at Vers-sur-Mer, Theresa May and Emmanuel Macron saw the foundation stone laid for a new memorial in honour of the 22,000 British-led troops who died in the Normandy campaign. The faces around them, a reminder that wars between nations, between ideologies, are fought by individuals, that this war was fought by these men.
If one day can be said to have determined the fate of generations to come, in France, in Britain, in Europe and the world, that day was the 6th of June, 1944.
George Batts, a D-Day veteran who had campaigned for the monument in honour of his fallen comrades, rose to remember them.
None of them wanted to be part of another war. But when the test came, when freedom had to be fought for or abandoned, they fought. They were soldiers of democracy. They were the men of D-Day, and to them we owe our freedom.
At Bayeux Cathedral, those who never returned from the Normandy beaches were honoured by veterans and leaders from the Commonwealth in a service of remembrance. The Prince of Wales paying tribute alongside the men who had fought under his grandfather. The bittersweet words of the Kohimor epitaph read on behalf of the fallen here in the first French town freed by the Allies. For your tomorrow, we gave our today.
When my life is over and I reach the other side, I'll meet my friends from Normandy and shake their hands with pride.
At the US cemetery, America's modern-day president gave his thanks to the servicemen of the past.
You are the pride of our nation. You are the glory of our republic. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
The experience of American soldiers on Omaha Beach, among the most brutal of the Allied campaign, etched onto the faces in front of him.
We know what we owe to you veterans, our freedom. On behalf of my nation, I just want to say thank you.
At Arromanches, British veterans gathered on the beaches they once took. As Europe remembers those who will never grow old, there's a need to cherish those who grow older each year. Those for whom remembrance is memory, for whom a nation's heroes were friends. For whom a minute's silence holds within it the noise of war. As the sounds of remembrance drifted back across the channel, there's a sense there may not be many more moments like today. When Europe pays tribute to the heroes who are here with us, as well as those who aren't. Lucy Williamson, BBC News, Normandy.
Yes, indeed. All the veterans who made their way back to Normandy are at least 90 years old. Our correspondent Robert Hall has spent the week with some of them.
Along the narrow streets of Bayeux, dappled with sunlight this morning, the sound of pipes and drums, the sight of old men parading with pride. In 1944, the first Allied liberators moved cautiously between the old houses. The people of Bayeux have never forgotten what that meant.
Humbling. Yeah, makes you sort of feel humble that people want to come out and applaud you.
Not enjoy, but come here just to remember them that never came back, you know.
How important is it for you to be here on this anniversary?
Oh, it's nice, yes. So we're all getting old, aren't we? Where I am. I'm nearly 96.
Ken Hay came ashore with the Dorset Regiment.
I got captured a couple of weeks later and I went off coal mining in Poland. And then the long march for freedom, of course, back. It's been overwhelming, I find. They're so welcoming. I think it's great.
At Bayeux Cemetery, Eric Strange, his head still full of last night's emotional departure from Portsmouth. As a young officer, Eric commanded a landing craft under fire from German defences.
And then the bang, there was this Royal Marine lieutenant, actually, and his chest was not very good. All one could do was try and get some first aid up to him as quick as, but...
For a moment, among the lines of white stones, Eric and his fellow veterans were back on the beaches.
There's a lot of lads there that were unlucky. And you've got to thank God that I was lucky. But it's very moving when you see them. They're the people that did give their lives for it.
Eric rarely talks about his D-Day experiences, but his voyage on the Boudicca has helped him open up, and today he found a willing ear. This evening, as veterans reached journey's end, the message they carried was simple.
And don't say I'm a hero. I'm no hero. I was lucky. I'm here. All the heroes are dead.
Robert Hall, BBC News, Arromanches.
Let's quickly round up